And we are live, people. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ma1ne Snekky, brought to you live on MSP Waves. It is September the 12th, 2018. My name is Poetic Snake, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host, Main Event. And I hope that he is here with us. Are you, Man? Are you with us?
Silence. Yes, I am here, of course. I had to try to scare you for a second, Snekky.
Well, it worked. It worked. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am here, and welcome everybody to another episode of Ma1ne Snekky. I really hope everybody can hear us out there on MSP Waves. It seems we have been plagued by some technical difficulties the last few weeks. It seems like something has always happened to our audio feed when we first get going here on the show. But hopefully we are on the airwaves loud and clear. If somebody in the MSP Waves audience chat room could let us know how we sound tonight, make sure we are loud and clear and on the air here. Let us know. What's going on, everybody? How are you doing, Snekky?
Silence.
Silence.
Oh, I'm doing slithering fine, actually. So I'm happy, and it's good to be here again. I always look forward to these Wednesday evenings, because I get to talk to you a lot, and people like your voice, so I think you should talk the whole show.
Well, I think they like your voice too, so I think it's an even trade there.
I still think that you should talk more.
Well, I'll do my best, Snekky. All right.
Yeah.
So,
and
yes,
how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. The sun is shining here. I'm on the east coast of the USA, but luckily I'm way up north, so I'm not having any of this hurricane stuff going on where I am. It's still sunshine here up in northern New England, but prayers going out to everybody on the east coast, because of course we're getting hit with a big hurricane over here. But yeah, so far so good here for me. Things are going well, and happy to be back here on MSP Waves for another show.
Yeah, I heard about that hurricane. I'm always happy that we don't get those things here. So yes, blessings going out to everybody who is in the zone. Keep safe, and yeah, hopefully it will pass soon.
Yes. So this is Ma1ne Snekky. This is our weekly Steem Community-based talk show here on MSP Waves. What we do on this show each and every week is we chat with you, the Steem community. We kind of get to know you all a little better, learn about your journey here and your experiences you've had on the Steem blockchain, all of the different projects that you might be working on, your content you're creating, basically everything about you as a Steemian that you'd like to share with us. We've had the pleasure of interviewing dozens of different Steemians from all over the world. We've been doing this show now for a little over a year, and it's great to have all of you here with us. I see some people already piling into the audience chat room here, and that is great to see. So big hello and welcome to everybody who is listening tonight. Again, you can chat with us live during the show on Discord. We are in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server. Again, that is Peace, Abundance, Liberty. It's the home of the Minnow Support Project, and of course, MSP Waves. And we are chatting tonight in the MSP Waves audience room in that Discord server, so feel free to jump in and say hello. If you are listening on mspwaves.com as well, big hello to you, and as well on DLive. I believe we are broadcasting on DLive this evening. Globocop has got the DLive link right there in the chat. Great to see. So yes, big shout out to everybody who's listening tonight on DLive. And you can find the DLive link if you visit MSP-Waves, that profile on STEEMIT. So it's MSP-Waves on STEEMIT, and that will link you to the DLive link. And yeah, it's a great place to leave some comments and re-steam that so people know about the show if you'd like. We always appreciate it.
Yes, we do. And there are a lot of more shows going on here on MSP Waves, and you can check the whole list out on mspwaves.com.
Yes, Globocop just shared that as well. There is a full schedule on there of all the different radio shows. And if you're interested in having a show, I believe there are some openings as well. Maybe Globocop can remind us in the chat about that. But I believe there may be some possibilities for, new people who would like to maybe have a show on MSP Waves. You just, of course, need to be able to keep that same time slot every week and, consistently do a show. But if you're interested, check out MSPWaves.com and probably contact someone like Globocop or Rondon, and they'd be happy to talk with you about possibly doing a show on MSP Waves.
And it's fun to do, right?
It is fun. We've been doing one now for, as I mentioned, over a year. And, it is a lot of fun to hang out with all of the different Steemians who either join us live on the show or chat with us in the live audience, or, of course, leave replies and comments on the show posts. It's always a lot of fun to hang out with the Steem community.
I agree, and we learned so much. I seriously learned a lot just by listening to you asking questions and people answering you. It's not just fun for me, it's also a learning experience, and I really enjoy doing it. So I say let's do it one more year, or 2, or 3, or 4.
Yeah, it's a thing that has continued to evolve and grow and change, and it's great to see that MSP Waves is still here, after a year. And, some DJs have had to step away for different reasons or whatnot. But, of course, hopefully they'll maybe come back someday or whatnot. But it's cool to see new shows popping up as well. And, again, you can check out the full schedule on MSPWaves.com.
And if you want to be a guest on our show, there are lots of many ways that you can contact us. You can send us a DM here on Discord. You can contact us on STEEMIT.chat. Or you can leave a reply on one of our show posts. I post before the show, main event post after the show. And we are always looking for great people to have on the show. And you don't have to be shy. It's really fun and laid back. And we love hearing your story.
Yeah, and the thing we hear the most is when we ask people if they want to be on the show, they'll always say something like, "Oh, well, I'm not that interesting," or "Oh, I've only been here for a couple of months," or something, or whatever. And, that doesn't matter to us. We're happy to have any Steemian on the show. It doesn't matter if you're experienced, if you're brand new. It doesn't matter if you've got 50 SP or 50,000 SP. We'd be happy to have you on the show. It's just a lot of fun for us getting to know all the different people out there in the Steem community. And so, yes, if you ever see us out in the chat rooms asking for guests, don't be bashful. If you've got a project you want to share or a story you want to tell, or, if you just want to, it's kind of a way for Steemians to just get their name out there a little bit too, because, of course, people will hang out and listen to the show. They'll learn more about you. It's kind of like an advanced version of an introduction post in a way.
It actually is. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, it's a way for Steemians to just kind of hang out here, chat with the live audience. Sometimes the audience will ask questions, and it's just a lot of fun, actually getting to know all of these amazing different people. I mean, there's so much talent here and so many cool personalities and stories too. It's a lot of fun.
It really is. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm seeing all kinds of, how do they call it? GIFs?
There's memes and GIFs and all kinds of stuff going on in the live Discord chat right now.
It always makes me laugh, and it is so distracting to me. I like it.
All right. Well, again, this is Ma1ne Snekky here on MSP Waves. Before we get going too far, Snekky, I'm going to play our little disclaimer, if that's all right.
Of course, I will put my fingers in my ears. Go ahead. You are listening to Ma1ne Snekky on MSP Waves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. We are not financial experts or experts of anything. This show is intended for entertainment purposes only. MSP Waves and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or our guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of MSP Waves. The material on Ma1ne Snekky is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
Ma1ne Snekky.
Snekky.
Yes.
I'm going to change my name to Snekky. Or we record a new one, or I'm going to change my name. It's up to you.
I like that recording. It always makes me giggle.
Yeah, me too. It's so silly. I don't know why I said it that way. There's no sh in my name.
Oh, it's funny. But yes, everybody do your own research, of course. This is just our opinions only. We're just here to have a good time, get to know some different Steemians. So, yes, always do your own research, and this is not financial advice. All right, with that out of the way, we do have two guests potentially joining us on the show. I know one of them for sure is here because he's already here in the chat room with us. So, let's welcome our first guest onto the show. If he is ready to go, let's say hello to the Marky Mark. Are you there, Marky?
Yes, I am. How's it going?
It's going great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thanks.
Now, Marky Mark, remind us, so your profile STEEMIT is the Marky Mark. And
yes.
Remind us, you've been on the platform for a while now, and you are a previous guest on our show, but it was quite a while back. Just give our audience kind of a quick refresher of, kind of who you are, how long you've been on the Steem blockchain, maybe if you can remember how you found your way here, and, just a little bit of your backstory of how you found your way onto the Steem blockchain.
All right. I've been here for just over a year. My anniversary, I believe, was July 1st or something like that. I don't remember how I got here. I mentioned that before, is I was part of an Ethereum mining group, and I think somebody mentioned Steem, and then since then I've been pretty much most of my time is spent on Steem. We're doing Steem-related things, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I am a witness. I do run Build a Whale, as well as the curation for Build a Whale. I do a lot of side project stuff that a lot of people don't see, but I spend a lot of time coding and building stuff and talking with people and just doing things behind the scenes. I write a lot of posts regarding tutorials and how to do things because I'm a technical person, so I find it easy to explain things for people, so I kind of spend a lot of time doing that. I like taking things that are complex and making them easier to understand or helping people with things like that. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Not as much lately, but I also started up Pancakes, which is the thing that I started recently, and then now Popcorn. And I have a few other things coming, and I have a game I'm working on and stuff like that.
I really enjoy the pancakes and the popcorn. It makes me giggle every time I see it.
The pancakes thing was something that was weird. It was out of nowhere. I was on SteamSpeak and I started posting. I had banana pancakes and they were freaking awesome. So I posted a picture of banana pancakes on SteamSpeak and people started laughing and I started posting a bunch of them. And then about an hour later and a lot of narration later, it was kind of a pretty funny skit. So then I decided I was going to make a pancake bot, and so it just happened.
And people can just give a command, right, in a post or in a reply, and pancakes will appear.
Yeah, you just send ampersand or exclamation point pancakes anywhere in the blockchain, and then you'll see this within 30 seconds, a menu that you can order whatever you want for pancakes. And
yeah,
it's kind of a joke, silly thing, but.
Well, it's a funny, silly thing, and I think here on the platform, it's a lot of serious things, and this brings a little laughter, and I really enjoy that. I upvoted it, and I ordered, I think, an excellent pancake suited for a king of queen, and it did. It did show up, and I started to get hungry right away.
There's actually a little secret behind it that no one has found out yet, but
really?
Yeah. There's a little secret. If you look at the account, you'll see a little bit more information about it. It's kind of a hidden thing that and no one has found yet. So
Ooh, that's
there's a little bit more to it than what people expect.
So everybody should go look for that.
Yeah, it's something to check out for sure. And it's cool that you've been so involved in so many different things here on the Steem blockchain. And you've mentioned a bunch of them there. If you want to pick one to kind of talk about first, I would be kind of interested to hear about really a lot of them. I'd be curious to learn more about your witness, all these other side projects that you're doing, the curation, that type of thing. So feel free to pick one of those if you'd like and kind of tell us more about it. Like, how's the witness thing going for you?
I run 3 witness servers. I also help a lot of other people with their servers privately, just making sure they stay up and running, answering any questions and stuff like that. But I believe I'm witness 31 right now. So that's pretty much probably where I'll stay for a while, because without freedom, you can't really get much further. But I run 3 witness servers. I help run 4 witness full nodes, which is what I spend a lot of time on. For build team, they have 2 publics and 2 privates. So I spend a lot of time running those for them. Then I have some other private ones as well that I run. But as a witness, I try to be engaged, active, passionate, and involved in stuff. You don't see a lot of witnesses respond to things. You don't see them speak up or anything. And I kind of respond to anything, even if it's difficult to answer. So you'll see me on the blockchain all over the place, or in Discords responding to stuff, even if people don't like me because I run a bid bot or whatever. I still try to give my opinion and try to do things. My main MO on Steem has always been from a security standpoint, because I run a security company. So I've always tried to protect people from spam, but also scammers and abuse and stuff like that. So that's why I've spent so much time doing a blacklist and stopping people from stealing keys and stuff like that. There was a while ago that I found somebody with over 40,000 Steem with their active key on GitHub. And I passed that on to somebody to get that locked down. And I sent them a message privately to change the password, but they didn't respond. So I tried to reach out to somebody that might know them and stuff like that. But I try to support stuff like that, because I think I just couldn't imagine my mother or grandmother using Steem or even using Bitcoin or any other thing without losing their keys in 5 minutes. I mean, so it's kind of involves a little bit of babysitting type of thing to make sure people are doing the right thing and not like giving away their keys and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and it happens a lot with new users not knowing which key where to use where, and actually sometimes it's hard to find out what you should do and what you should not do, and someone like you takes care of that and makes sure that people know about it. I think that's a wonderful thing.
I didn't have much direction when I got here, but I do want to talk about one thing actually that came to mind that has been going on for quite a bit, is the blacklist. A lot of people love and hate me for that, because there's a lot of people that have been hit by it, mostly spammers or people that have plagiarized or stuff like that. And it's kind of a double-edged sword there, because I spend a lot of time trying to prevent people from spamming, plagiarizing, abusing, and stuff like that. But every single time I add somebody to blacklist, and there's about 18,000 people on the blacklist right now. Every single one was researched by hand by me and added by me. There's no third party, no team, nothing else helping to do that. The problem is spam is subjective. Everybody has a different opinion of what spam is, what's good for the platform, what's not good for the platform. And I try to stay away from the line that crosses into censorship. But it's not always easy to do. I'm getting attacked right now. I have somebody that called the FBI, has got a lawyer. I have people that have attacked me and told me different things, ranging from they're going to rape my wife, my kids, they're going to kill me, they're going to come to my house and film me, they're going to call the FBI. Some have called the FBI because I flagged them or I've put them on the blacklist. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to do any of that when you have that type of response to anything you do with it. So I want to explain a little bit what I do with the blacklist, and for the people that think I'm trying to be a censor or trying to push my agenda or trying to be a policeman on a platform. And it's difficult because on one hand, you have people that are complaining, oh, bid bots are affecting trending. Trending is a shitstorm. Everyone, can I swear here?
Yeah. Do
okay, do, sorry. So people are complaining about trending being a shitstorm, and everything is run by bid bots and everything like that. And for a long time, I've been trying to stop that. I put a cap on my bot so you can't bid over a certain amount, so it can never trend on its own. I've put a blacklist that I am extremely active on, that every single day I'm publishing an update to GitHub and pushing out, which is completely open. Everyone can see it. Everyone can use it for their projects. And I just recently created a blacklist API that allows you to integrate it into different projects and actually allows you to integrate other blacklists like Steam Cleaners, Utopian, My Blacklist, as well as Minnow Booster. And the problem is every single thing I look at, there's a thin line where is this spam? Plagiarism's the easy one. That is one of the ones I hate the most. I hate when people steal other people's work and try to get paid for it. Plagiarism is generally simple. It's the other things like spam where they're posting 63 times a day. Like there's a account called AMN Live that is posting 63 times a day. And they're complaining that I'm censoring their news because I have an agenda that their news isn't allowed here, and that I'm trying to censor different types of news, which has gotten another group person called Smidge TV to call the FBI, and he's getting involved and like complaining that I'm censoring his news and whatnot. And it's nothing about that. It's simply the fact that 63 times a day is just not what we should be doing on the platform. And I don't run STEEMIT Inc. I have no say in what's done, but I do have a say what's using my bot and what I will reward with my bot. And I open my blacklist for everyone else to use. They're free to use it or they're free to ignore it. But I have certain guidelines that I have chosen that I feel are reasonable. They're high enough up that nobody under normal situations should hit it. So it shouldn't capture anybody that are legitimate users. But there are people that post ridiculous amounts of stuff, and they feel that I'm infringing on free rights and free speech, and that they're free to do whatever they want. And that's a big thing. Is a lot of people that are on STEEMIT are because they believe in free speech above anything else, and a lot of people that believe that content doesn't matter, that Steam is just a glorified mining algorithm that you can mine any way you want. You have stake, you can use it to mine, and it's like GPUs. It doesn't matter what you do with it. And I'm trying to change that and do something better. At least while I run a bid bot and I'm giving out votes, I want to make sure that we're not voting on people that are doing crap and allowing them to go extend past their stake. And unfortunately, that doesn't make anyone happy, or it doesn't make a certain group of people happy. And you can't win anything. I am a firm believer that anytime you open your mouth on STEEMIT, you've pissed off half of STEEMIT. So it's not something you're going to ever win. But I have good intentions. I try to do it for a very specific reason. I don't add people because I want to add them. I add people that I believe are not deserving of a bid bot vote or being picked up by curation. Part of the purpose of the list is not only to prevent my bot to bid on them, but other bots, but also curation. Like Steam Press, Steam Hunt, all use my blacklist. For Steam Hunt, for example, it reduces their hunter score, so it's much harder to get a hunter vote or be accepted if you're on the blacklist, because it reduces their score enough that they have to do way better to be able to get past that. And anybody that's on the blacklist, they're there for a reason, and there's a certain amount of guidelines I have that are very specific that creates a trigger to put on the blacklist. So I just wanted to go into that. I wasn't planning on it, but it came to mind when you were asking me what I should talk about and whatnot. And I know right now there's a lot going on about that, and I have people sending me messages, and I have one particular person that's causing a lot of scene about it, and it's an everyday thing. It's nothing new. Sometimes I'll turn them into comedy open mic things lately that I've been doing, because I posted a conversation before and somebody said you should make this a comedy open mic. So every so often I'll do an entry, a comedy open mic, and I'll put in one of the conversations in there that I think is pretty funny. But unfortunately, most of them are not funny. So, but.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot there, and that's a lot to that whole situation. And I think that what you kind of said about it's your list and your bot, it's your decision on what it gets used for, and I don't disagree with that. It is interesting to see where the state of the Steem blockchain is going right now. We have been so used to, strong content, well-written, original content being the main focus of the platform by so many different curation groups and just the culture in general. and now we're seeing more and more and more of these dApps being created that are posting short posts, and we're seeing still people posting, single photo posts and all of these things. And it's not to say necessarily, because in my opinion those aren't necessarily bad, but of course I don't know about the technical sides of the blockchain either. But it is interesting to see kind of the culture changing a little bit, in my opinion, where there seems to be more of these things being created that are going to basically be shorter posts. Now, what you were mentioning of 60 times a day, I agree that's excessive. It's too bad that there isn't some kind of system, and maybe it will come one day where we'll just have so many different front ends to the Steem blockchain that, if one page wants to be focused on quick, short posts, they can do that or whatnot. And other ones can be the main blogging platforms and all of these things. I'm not sure. But a blacklist is something I think that is necessary because, like you said, there's people out there, they plagiarize, they're copy and pasting content, they're, that type of stuff, obviously, we don't want to support. And again, everything you hear on this show is just our opinions and all of that good stuff. But yeah, what you're saying, it's interesting that it's gotten to some of the extremes that you mentioned there, and we don't have to elaborate on those situations, but it must be tough, doing all of that. But at the same time, as people are mentioning in the chat here, you are doing a service to the blockchain. You're helping all these other projects by creating these lists, and again, like you said, it's their decision, whether they want to use that list or not. And I don't know. I can see where people would get upset, but at the same time, I feel like if they are true to the platform, if they're really here to help the platform and all of that stuff, they wouldn't be getting that upset about it.
One of the things, I'm not too against short posts like Zapple. I'm not a big fan of it, but what I am against is Zapple post saying, hey, I had chocolate today, and then I'm voting for $300 using BidBots. That's the problem. Dmania was another problem, which was a little bit different. People were creating 5 to 10 posts a day using Dmania, all plagiarized content, and then they had 17 accounts doing the same thing. That I have a problem with, and that's why I fought to take down Dmania, because it was just plagiarism. That's all it is. I'm fine with people sharing, but the problem is STEEMIT wasn't really designed for sharing, and everything has a financial incentive. Everything you do has a financial incentive, and sharing on Reddit works great. There's no problem with it because there's no money to be made. Once you start coming into STEEMIT, now you're basically taking other people's work and trying to get paid for it, and I don't like that. Now, I'm not the one who has say on that, but it's something I don't want to reward with my bot. And the thing is, it's a no-win, because when I created the blacklist, people are complaining, oh, this shit on trending, people upvoting crap. So I spent a good amount of time. I literally spend 10 to 60 hours a week fighting that. And I don't get paid for it. I don't have a salary. I don't have free Steem at stake. I have nothing. I'm just doing it on my own. When I do that, I prevent a lot of that stuff from my bot. The problem is there's 108 other bots that are willing to do it. And then the other problem is when you do it, then you get people complaining, oh, who are you to say that they're not allowed to do that? What determines what's good con, what's bad con? Oh, this is free speech. You're imposing on free speech. And no matter what you do, you can't win. It's like, it's a no-win no matter what you do. And if I don't do anything, I get blasted. If I do something, I get blasted. And so I just do what I think is right, and whatever. I don't really care where it goes from there. People do what they want. I can't change that. It doesn't matter.
And that's true. I mean, there's always going to be two sides to all of those arguments, and it's been that way ever since I joined Steem a year ago also. I mean, we've had so many of these hot button issues come through that people have had, they're very passionate about, whether it be bid bots, whether it be content quality, self-voting, there's so many different discussions that everybody could have that they're very passionate about one way or the other. And you're right, you'll never make everybody happy, but you're doing a service, you're doing what you're doing. People can choose to use your bid bot or not. They can choose to use your blacklist or not. And I don't know. It's tough for those people who think that what they're doing is right, or what they're doing is, because it's really not about what's right or what's wrong. It's just your opinion on what you want to support. And this is just kind of the way this platform works right now, and it's just the way it is. If people want to upvote you, they're going to. If they want to downvote you, they're going to. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, it's why some people like it here. It's the freedom of being able to use your stake as you want to use it. And you're providing a service with your bid bot, and you're creating a blacklist for it that you don't want to support those profiles or whatnot, and that's your decision.
That's a funny thing you mentioned, that it's your stake to use as you want. I find that statement funny because a lot of people use that statement all the time, and I think it's a little bit different than I think. The real statement is it's your stake to use as you want, as long as it's not your stake. So people are allowed to do what they want if it's their stake, but when someone else does it, it's a totally different story. That idea is null and void. Or if it's somebody they support, then they use that statement. But when it's you or somebody else that does it, then and they don't like it, then well, no, it's you're self-voting, or you're doing this or you're doing that, and it's not your stake to use how you want. It's a double-edged sword. People have two agendas. They say on one hand that it's your stake to do what you want, but then if you do something you want, then you're doing something wrong. And it's just, no one can make up their mind, and they're very passionate about their decision on both ends of the spectrum, while each of them are competing against each other. Yeah, there's a lot of self-entitlement. I think that's a big part of it too as well. Everyone thinks they deserve stuff and feel like they just post and they deserve what a certain amount or whatever and whatnot. But I see it all the time, like with when the Hagen thing came on here, I got on here and made a big deal about it. I was the one that started the entire campaign. I was the one that was writing all the posts. I was the one that stuck my neck out, took all the thousands of dollars of flags, even though I never flagged him once. And when I got on PAL Radio, I was told that it's his stake to do what he wants. And that was a big turning point for me, because at the time I felt upvoting 10 posts that are charts that are completely pump and dump type of thing and was wrong. And I stood against that, and I was basically beaten into me that no, that's not wrong. That's his stake. He's allowed to do what he wants, and that's how it should be. But then people will upvote comments for 10 times a day for 100% of their stake and not create anything, or they'll create plagiarism or spam, or just post 10 times a day with their own stake, and people have a problem with that, or different things like that. So it's just like everyone has their own opinion as long as it's the way they want it.
That's true. And that's the challenge here of this experiment that we're all kind of in here. It's an interesting social thing that we have going on here, because it involves possible rewards. There's so many different personalities and cultural barriers and all these things that are bringing us all together. And then now we've got to kind of figure out what we're going to do here. And some people are going to choose to do things their way, or other people are going to choose to help the community and help other people. That's what I think most of us want to see. We want to see people helping each other and supporting good content and original content, not plagiarized things and all of that good stuff. So, we could probably go on that subject forever, but, I think it is good that you brought it up and you kind of cleared the air about that a little bit. So, and that's for your bid bot, right? You said?
My bid bot has a blacklist, which is shared. There's now a global blacklist API that includes my blacklist as well as 3 others, and soon to be 2 more. And people can use that in their projects and pick and choose what blacklists they want to support. It's something that's been talked about for a long time, and I ended up getting access to one of the key blacklists I needed to do it, so I ended up building it, because I was told to hold off on it because they were going to do it themselves, but it just didn't happen. So I created one myself to do that, because that's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I announced it 8 months ago and was told to hold off, and I finally got access to data, so I just built one. And I asked Utopian to provide me data points so I can actually include them in there as well. So there's a couple others that are coming on board that will be in there as well. So it's one global blacklist API that somebody can query. Then they can choose which lists they want to listen to. They can use my blacklist API and ignore my blacklist. I mean, that's fine.
Right, and I would just add, people would be encouraged to, if you see a name on there and you want to question that, go look at the profile for yourself. Make your own choice. If you're questioning somebody that's on one of those lists, if you want to go check it out and you think that their content should be voted, that's your decision. And as far as I won't even dive into the rest of it, but yeah, no, it's good that you have that out there, and I think for the most part, I think it is a useful tool, and people can just choose to use it or not.
One thing with the blacklist is a lot of people will submit stuff or say something good or bad or whatever about a person. When I add somebody to blacklist, it's not because I saw one post I didn't like and then I add them to a blacklist. Whenever somebody gets put in a blacklist, they are looked at as the entire account, not as one post. In the rare case that they actually just like steal a post from somebody else on the platform, that I'm a lot more strict about. Like, for example, when I get a trending post, which I try to do when I have something big, I'll trend a post. But for the most part, I try to keep my posts pretty reasonable. But when I do that, I immediately get like a bunch of Gina messages that people stole my post and they word for word copied it. And they just took out certain parts or whatever. That, to me, I will put on a blacklist because that's complete outright theft. And it's right on the same platform. But if someone steals something from a third-party site, they forget to source it or whatever, a little bit more lenient. But if that's something they do all the time, then I will put them on a blacklist. But if it's one post, I don't really take action on things unless if it's like a flat-out scam or flat-out plagiarizing somebody else's post on the platform, then I will do something about it. But I try to look at an entire account and not just judge by one post, because on like short posts and stealing an image, one post, you can look at one post and they put up an image of, say, a beach and say, I'm going on vacation. It's like, oh, that image is stolen. But if you look at the rest of their account, the account's 100% legitimate, but they just made a short post, whatever. So I can't really take one post and decide, and that's why I try to avoid doing that.
Right, and there's a lot of people who I think join the Steem blockchain and they just don't know. It's they don't know that they're not supposed to use this as just like they would any other social media. They just share whatever they want and do whatever they want. I mean, in my opinion, and again, this is all just our opinion, that's not what this is intended for. I prefer to support original content on here. I really don't even like sourced images and things like that. I understand people use them, and there's ones that you can use, but I really prefer original content on this platform. And again, that's just my opinion. But each curator and each person that's out there looking at content is going to have their own criteria, and that's just the reality of the situation.
I agree completely with that. And there's one rule of thumb I like to say when I talk to people, and I think the first thing before I say that rule of thumb, I think education is a big factor in it. A lot of people that come here don't know better. A lot of people coming here don't make much, and they're trying to turn this into a salary. And like even getting $1 or $5 a week is huge to them. So they'll post anything they can possibly get away with. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of eating for the week and not eating for the week. But the rule of thumb I like to say is when you use other people's content, if the post is about that content, you've done it wrong. If the content adds to your post and adds value to what you've created, then I'm okay with it. Like if you take a YouTube video and include it into your post about Eminem rapper, and you have this big thing about Eminem and you include some of his videos, I mean, that's perfectly fine. But if you create a post that has one of his videos and you call it a day, that's basically taking his work and getting paid for it. And that's where I kind of draw the line. Does the content you're using add value, or is it the value? And that's kind of the rule of thumb I try to use when looking at things.
Yeah, and that's an interesting way to look at it for sure. We're chatting right now with the Marky Mark from the STEEMIT platform, so you can find him on there at the Marky Mark. And Poetic Snake has shared the blog profile link in the chat. You're listening to Ma1ne Snekky here on MSP Waves. Big hello and shout out to everybody that's listening right now. We've got ourselves a nice live audience here in the Discord chat. So a big hello to all of you out there. If anybody has some questions for Marky, certainly let us know in the live audience. Again, we're chatting on Discord in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server. That is the home of the Minnow Support Project and MSP Waves. Jump in the audience channel and say hello, and feel free to ask some questions. People have been leaving a lot of comments in the chat. Again, as always, a lot of mixed opinions when it comes to content and all of that stuff. But again, we could talk about that for hours. Are there other things that you wanted to mention, the Marky Mark, while you're here? Any other projects you're working on, or other things like that? Or we always also, if you want to give any Steemian shout outs to people, like if you want to give some shout outs to just some different Steemians, we always give everybody a chance to do that as well.
I'd like to open it to questions, so if anyone had questions, I can answer them.
Sure.
But I'm sure Ma1ne might have something to say, but if I was going to shout out anybody, I spent a lot of time talking with Ma1ne lately. I have a lot of respect for him. I've talked to him before in the past, but I really didn't pay too much attention. Then he made a comment on one of my posts that got me to pay attention to him, and I've been talking to him almost every day since then.
Yeah, big shout out to Ma1ne. He, of course, is going to have his show later on this evening here on MSP Waves.
Hey, Gray, yeah, I am a big fan of Evergreen, especially with video content. I don't feel that DTube, DLive works very well if you're limited to 6.5 days, because some of the DLive not as bad, but DTube, even though I'm not a fan of DTube or the owner, DTube type of content where you're creating video content that has a lot of time, a lot of creation time, and a lot of buildup and a lot of expenses and resources. You can't really expect that to pay off within 6.5 days. And a lot of that stuff people use for a long time. Think of tutorials that are on different YouTube sites, like learning JavaScript, for example. That's something that's evergreen that should be able to be paid out forever. I mean, as long as people are using it and see value in it, they should be able to reward it. And but I don't think all content should be evergreen. But I think if somebody sees value, and I have posts that are 8 months old now that I created a long time ago on Markdown and duration rewards and things that no one has really talked about much on, and they still get comments to this day. I get them regularly. I get people that say, I wish I could upvote this, but it's too old. I'm all for doing evergreen. It's going to be mathematically much more difficult for the blockchain. I think that's why a big factor is it's 6.5 days, is because of the math and the resources involved to handle that. But I'd be all for that.
Snekky, you want to jump in here?
I'm reading the questions in the chat. There are some good questions. I don't know which one he wants to answer next.
I haven't been able to keep up, but do you see one that would be? I know all those accounts. I know most of them.
I see. Can you guys go over the key password safety? What is the safest way to use one's account? This is a question from Ankapolo.
For that, I would recommend always using your posting key when you log into Steam. If you ever go to a site or click on a link that asks you again for your password, don't put it in there, because chances are that's a phishing link. Always look at your address bar, make sure it has the green secure and it says steemit.com or busy.org or whatever you're using. But I always recommend, if you click on a link and it gives you a prompt to ask you a password again, close it and go back to the beginning and type it in manually and make sure that it's real or whatever. Don't ever do that. You only need your posting key to do 90% of what you're going to do on the Steem blockchain. You can claim your rewards. You can do everything. The only thing you can't do is transfer money, make witness votes, and see memos between if someone sends you a memo or whatever. You need your active key or your memo key to do that. Asher, if you look at that list and compare it to my blacklist, you'll probably recognize a lot of those that are on there.
All right.
Go ahead, I'm trying to find more questions, but it's going so fast. And I cannot multitask. I don't know why.
Yeah, if anybody does have questions for the Marky Mark here, go ahead and put those right in the live chat right now. Let me see, where's the D Live link? We'll make sure nobody's writing over there on D Live and we're missing any questions there. Let's see here. Let me jump over there. So big shout out to everybody that's on D Live tonight. We've got a bunch of people actually over there watching. Hello to everybody on D Live. Yeah, if anybody's got questions or anything or comments for the stuff we've been talking about here with the Marky Mark, let us know.
Ooh, I have a question.
Okay.
Well, I found a question from LL Forums. I think she wants to know, is there anything you want to say about Hard Fork 20?
Hard Fork 20 focuses on research credits, account creation, burning the account creation fee, and a bunch of stuff like that. I think, I think for 1.5 years, it's not adequate. I think it has some good things in it, but I'm disappointed that that's pretty much what we're given for a 1.5 plus worth of work when there's other things that need to be addressed. But I think there's some good things in there, just not enough. And I am curious to see how resource credits work and if that actually helps alleviate some of the issues. I think, for example, changing comments from 20 seconds to 3 seconds is good and bad. I think on the good end is I have hit that limit doing an organic comment. I type very fast. I respond very quickly. And I have hit that limit before. Not a lot, but I do hit it. And a limit like that should never be hit by a human. And unfortunately, you do hit it. But it also is going to change the game where the amount of comment spam is going to go through the roof. Comment spam is dramatically higher than post spam. So that's not a good thing that we're going to have that. And then you have bot comments as well that are doing that too as well. So, I mean, that's a concern of mine as well. And I think there's going to be a mad rush for the account creation. I know a lot of people are trying to create accounts now before things change so they can snipe names and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's next week, right? Or is it 2 weeks away? 2
It's
weeks
the
away.
25th, which is 13 days, so 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just under.
Yeah, that's coming right up. All right.
And people are already starting to upgrade to Hard Fork 20. It just won't activate until it gets to that point. On 25th, if the top 20 witnesses support the Hard Fork, it'll engage.
Okay. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how things end up really changing here on the Steem blockchain and whether it's an improvement or not. There's been a lot of hype about Hard Fork 20. I know that. It's been one of those things everybody's talked about for a long time. It'll be interesting to see the changes coming.
I'm going to answer Eagle Spirit's question about the Taskmaster post that's got over $400 drop in quality. I don't know if everyone's familiar with that post, but basically he says, who gives a shit about what people post? Just let them post. It's more important to get people on the site than control what people are posting. And I am not a big fan of that idea. I know a lot of big names have supported his post and say that they're perfectly happy with that because they don't give a shit. But the problem is, if you see what I see and you just spend 5 minutes, click on the new tab and watch it for 5 minutes, and you tell me if you're okay with it. Because there's a lot of crap. There's a lot of people that are just using. There's a lot of people, for example, Homesys with no E, HOMSYS. What he does every day, he posts 5 to 10 times. He posts a public domain image, and then he says, "I'll give you 105% of my votes." And basically, it's just a vote farm with no original content, no original thought. Magor does another thing where he does the same thing, but he upvotes it for $20, $30, and it's just creating $5, $10 posts. Then you have Content Junkie, which I like to call junkie content because he has a bunch of accounts that are all plagiarism and all crap. He has movie trailers account, which used to upvote movie trailers for $200 to $300 5 times a day. I mean, how the hell is that acceptable? And I flagged the crap out of that account, and it's finally got it down because it's out of scope. It's not something Steam cleaners will do anything about. So I flagged it a long time ago, and now it votes for like $1, which I still don't like, but I'm not going to complain about that. But if that's the case, if we don't care about quality, just look at new for a while, and you will see what will happen. Is people will post the littlest effort they possibly can and gain the most rewards out of it. And whether it's circle jerks, using bid bots, or however they do it, a lot of people do it a different way. They farm the auto votes. Like, for example, Mango's, Alexa's 555. There's a lot of whale accounts that are sharded off into multiple minor, smaller whales or dolphins that give free upvotes randomly, and they have an algorithm that's fairly good at avoiding some of the spammers. Like H1, for example, has upvoted plagiarists and people who have forged my account, and he's upvoted it blindly because he gives out votes for free. You have like the Gentle bot that gives $1.50 to comments. So all these people that are spamming comments, I like your post, people should post more posts, or nice photo when it's a text article, are randomly getting these $1.50 votes that justify them or rationalizes them to do that.
Yeah,
And
it's there's a lot out there. I mean, I don't want to go too crazy, railing off all the specific names of everybody and everything, but I mean, it's there's a lot out there. And it's challenging because there's so many different ways people have found to use this system not for good. And again, I just have to always reiterate, this is always just our opinions and everything that you hear on this show. But it is what it is, and it's tough. It's really tough, and it's good that some people have taken a stance against things like that. And it's too bad that they're using the system for that type of stuff. It would be nice if they were creating original content instead, and actually upvoting original content and supporting those people who are here and that are supporting the community, and that type of thing.
there's one thing I'm a firm believer of, and somebody's going to have to pay the bill at some point. You have all these people that are creating content with no investment in the platform. Creating content has zero original content, original thought, zero effort, and they're milking the system for thousands or hundreds of thousands. I have one guy that I stopped that was doing $200,000 a year in YouTube videos across 60 accounts. Zero investment. Not one of the accounts had any Steem power. They were just milked and then drained. At some point, somebody's going to have to foot the bill. So we have 64,000 Steem created a day, a little bit less now because of the way the system works, but we have all the Steem created a day with no incentive to buy Steem. And somebody's going to have to foot the bill. We have all these spammers. And that's the key thing. A lot of these spammers are just draining the money. They're not putting it back in the system. So you have all these people draining the system. Who's going to pay that bill? Eventually, it's going to come a time that the price starts hitting 7 cents, which is where we're heading right now, that somebody's going to have to foot the bill to bring it back up and to actually buy Steem. And if no one's buying Steem and no one has an incentive to put into the platform outside of just putting it to a bid bot and going passive, then what we're going to have is a free fall. And we're going to have a platform that you have 1 million people that have invested zero into the platform. They have no original thought. They have no engagement. They just are farming the system. Somebody's going to have to pay that bill or it stops working. And we're approaching that point at this rate. So I don't believe in this post. I don't think that's the right answer. Unfortunately, you have freedom of speech, you have censorship, you have all those other issues you have to deal with. But at some point, we have to decide, do we want to keep this platform running, or do we want to just wait for we hit the iceberg and then everyone that managed to cash out has done okay?
Yeah. And obviously, we hope that doesn't happen. I know I enjoy my time here. The community around the Steem blockchain is amazing. There's so many talented, creative people here. The ones that are posting original content and, engaging in all of these communities and doing all of this stuff. Those are the people I would like to see supported, not the people that are plagiarizing, that are copying content and all of that stuff. I don't like that stuff. I love seeing original content on the platform. So, to anybody that's listening out there, obviously continue to try to support original content, especially at times like this where the prices are quite low. Because a lot of people are obviously discouraged. They're saying, oh, well, I shouldn't even post right now, or or whatever, they're leaving or whatnot. So we always try to remind everybody, make sure you're out there leaving replies on people's posts that you're reading. Make sure you are engaging with Steemians out there. Try to help. As you were saying, we got to keep this thing going. I mean, a lot of us have spent a lot of time here. We enjoy it, and we don't want to see it go anywhere. But it will take effort from everybody. Really.
There's a thing that I've invited a lot of people to STEEMIT, and I always have two things that I've mentioned. The place is a Ponzi, and people see it as a spam fest, is because of what they see on the outside. All this stuff that's going through new, all the stuff on trending. And while that stuff persists, that's going to be the big deal breaker that stops people from coming on the platform and taking it seriously. If we don't do anything about that stuff, that's where we're going. It's going to get worse than it is. And I just tell people, take somebody that has nothing to do with crypto, have them take a look at the site and ask them, say, hey, spend 5 minutes on the site. Tell me what you think. And it's an eye opener. It'll really tell you how other people see it that aren't involved in it. Because we've created these filters that we say, yeah, I know this spam, but I just ignore it. Take somebody that doesn't know anything about it and have them look at it and get some feedback there. Have your parents, have a friend, have whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Snekky.
I was just going to say, even when I let my mom look at STEEMIT, she still, she sees me do it. She knows a lot more than somebody who has never seen it, and she still has a problem. It's when outsiders look at it and they have no clue. It's hard.
Yeah.
And everyone's complaining that STEEMIT's not mainstream right now, and no one really wonders why.
Yeah. Well, to kind of steer the conversation back towards in a more positive direction, because I do see people saying, "Oh, this is depressing." Well, we're just facing some facts here, is all, and obviously the prices are lower than we've seen in quite a while, and that's just the reality of it. But in the positive light, there are more things being created. There's more applications being created. There's more front ends being created. There's more options out there
and stuff like that.
Right. So, the STEEMIT website itself is only one part of this. They're just one piece of the puzzle here. The Steem blockchain is what we're really talking about. And, that functionality is still there. It is possible to be used for lots of things and things we haven't even thought of yet. And so that's what I think most of us are hoping for, that are kind of sticking it out here, is that there's going to be more things created, more options for the Steem blockchain outside of just the STEEMIT website kind of thing.
Yeah, I love stuff like DLive. I'm a huge fan of. I think they're doing a really cool job there. And I see, I'll give you a good example of it. There's a Polish streamer that got on there. Normally when I stream, I get anywhere from 8 to 50 people. That's pretty much the best I can do. There's people that do really well. They might get 100 to 150 tops, and that's like the best on STEEMIT. There's a Polish streamer that came over to DLive, and they started using it, and they had like 1,600 people at once on their stream right away. And a lot of those people are not Steemians. The thing that DLive did is they opened it up so they have guest accounts that you can comment on DLive streams, and you can engage without having a Steem account. And that's really cool. And that definitely has some engagement. If you look at YouTube, that whole platform is ripe for DLive. There's a lot of people on there that do live streams and stuff that would be happy to go to DLive if they knew any better and they can get past the spamminess look of things. And they started moving over to here. In the fact that we have no evergreen is a problem too. But I think that's a huge factor that could get people onto Steem, and stuff like that could do a lot more than going to steemit.com and posting about blogs.
Yeah, and things like DLive are out there now for people to use. There's other apps and adapts being created, and we'll just have to see where things go. Hopefully more people will continue to join the blockchain and find different ways to use it and utilize it. And, we'll have to just kind of see where things go, I guess. Let's see here. Any other questions out there in the audience for the Marky Mark? Or Snekky, feel free to jump in here if you've got any questions or anything. Let's see here. Yeah, any more questions for Marky Mark here?
Well, waiting for questions, I do want to mention something is I don't know, I think you guys know Menno very well, but he runs Helpy, and they have a witness now. So just so you guys know that that's available, and Helpy is a good community. It's a shard off of MSP, I believe. It's part of the group there, and they help new users and people that are trying to create good content and stuff like that. So I mean, I really love that project, and I just found out about it a little over a month, maybe 2 months ago, and I've been really into it ever since then. And to answer Globo's about why not jump about 31, I need about 3 million Steam power to go to the next step to get to 30. And it's very hard to get that. Most people that have a lot of stake, they have the reasons why they vote things. They already have used their 30 slots. They have it's hard to get them to vote on anything else. And I've not gone around and asked anybody for a witness vote until recently, where I've asked a couple people for a rather large vote, and that's what brought me from 48 to 31, because I finally broke down and asked somebody for a vote. But the main vote that's can only take me any further really is Freedom's, and he won't give it back to me. And he's still voting on Jerry, but that's really what you need. You need something like Freedom. I mean, Smooth could move me a bit, but there's not many people that can really move me at this point. So much movement just to get to one spot.
Would you love to see that change?
I would love to see that change. I think a lot of witness votes are dead. They're accounts that aren't used anymore, or they're pointing at certain people that are not really voting or not even used. They're not even active witnesses. A lot of witness votes are because they're friends with people, or they've been paid, or they just don't know any better, or they have their own agenda or whatever. I mean, there's not a lot of organic witness voting going on, and not with the people that have a lot of power.
And I think that's another thing we can mention too, because I think a lot of Steemians don't know that they can vote for witnesses, and they especially don't know that they can vote for, what is it? It's 30 witnesses.
30, yeah, 30, and you can change them anytime.
Right.
You're not locked in. If you don't like what someone does, take it away.
Right. So I don't think that everyone is necessarily familiar with that. I think I've got the link right here. I'll post that in the chat. So yeah, everybody can go to that link through STEEMIT.com, and they can vote for witnesses. You know, we're not telling you who to vote for. You got to do your own research on that. But every Steemian can vote for up to 30 witnesses. And, you know, and I encourage a lot of you to go check them out. A lot of the names you might see might be people that you are seeing out on the blockchain, or leading projects, or things like that. And, you know, these are the people that are helping kind of do the technical stuff behind the scenes that keeps the blockchain running. And many of them are very involved in other projects and things around the blockchain as well. So check out the list. And of course, you can vote on witnesses that aren't only in that top 50, or I think, does it show the top 100 now, I think, on there?
Yeah, it's up to 100. And if you go to steemian.info, which is Dracos's site, it'll go up to as many as there is. I think 265 active ones, if you want to see them all. And you can vote there. You can also see who votes for them and all that stuff. And
cool. Yeah. And so, yeah, if anybody's out there listening and maybe you're new to the platform, or you just didn't know, everybody can vote for up to 30 witnesses with your SP, with your stake. And, you know, of course, the higher SP you have, the more weight that vote has. But it all adds up, and I'm sure many of these witnesses that you see out there doing projects and things would appreciate your vote. So certainly check that out if you have never voted for a witness.
I always tell people to vote for people that you believe are good for the platform. In the end, the witnesses are there to produce blocks, run a price feed. It's not a policing community. They're not responsible for flagging people. They're not responsible for content. They're not responsible for a lot of the things people think witnesses are. But in the end, you should support people that you believe are good for the platform. And if you don't know who those people are, or you can't come up with them, find somebody you trust and proxy your vote to them until you can. And that's a lot of people don't know who to vote for, so they don't do anything. Proxy it to somebody that you trust.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, you'll have to kind of do your own research on who you think you should support and things like that. And you can always change your witness votes later if somebody you're voting for decides to do some things that you might not support. And yeah, so check it out if you haven't yet. And again, everybody can vote for up to 30 different witnesses. And I think it's important. I think every Steemian with a stake should be voting for some witnesses. I think that's important, in my opinion.
I seriously have a question. What if, like, 6 or 10,000 minnows vote for one and the same witness? Would that move people up to the top 100 or not at all?
Not really, no. Like if you're talking a minnow, what are we talking? Less than 500 stake?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you need really 2 million stake to really get anywhere. That's 4,000 minnows to get 2 million stake. And that still won't move you far. 2 million steam power will get you into the point where you're producing blocks. It'll get you into like the top 80, maybe right around there or close to it. And you'll start producing like a block or 3 a day, which will make it so you kind of break even on the hardware. But it's not going to get you much further than that. Like, for example, if 4,000 minnows voted for me and they all had 500 stake, I wouldn't even go to 30.
Yeah.
And it has parts. Like from 68 to 63 was a tough spot. There's a lot of big gaps. From like 40 to 48, there's like quick movements because they're all in the same spot. So it really depends. But yeah, it takes a lot. It's a marathon, and you really have to have a lot of votes to make a difference, especially at the higher levels. Once you get in the middle to higher top 50, it's a really slow process without a lot of support. The stakeholders do have most of the say. But there are a lot more minnows than there are stakeholders.
Well, it's always interesting to learn more about what a Steem Witness does and how that whole process works. So we appreciate you taking the time to talk about some of that today and all of your, the experiences you've had with your curation bot and the blacklist and, all of the different things that you've been doing since you joined the Steem blockchain. It's always a good time to chat with you. Let's see if there's any more questions, any final questions here before we say goodbye to the Marky Mark.
Me.
All right. I guess not. No, just kidding.
No. Oh my God. You're always so mean to me.
I'm
I
just
finally
kidding.
decided I wanted to ask a question.
All right.
Oh,
Here we go.
Marky Mark. I have a very special and important question. When are
Sure,
we
is it
going?
about pancakes?
No, it's about bacon, actually.
Okay.
Are we going to see a bacon bot, please?
I don't know if I could make a bacon bot if we had to. I just didn't know if I overstepped boundaries with the pancake and the popcorn bot. The pancake was pretty much all I was going to do, but the popcorn was just so had to be done because there's so much freaking drama on STEEMIT, and it's so convenient just to type in ! popcorn and get a random GIF rather than have to go find one. So you get a random one. It's kind of like fun. But I didn't want to go too crazy. I thought about making a banana one for Stella and making a Steam Monster one for Steam Monsters, but I didn't know how crazy I wanted to get on it. But
Well,
my next one was going to be tacos if I did do one.
Oh,
I thought about doing tacos, but I just think people get sick of seeing them. I've already been flagged a few times from people about having it in there while they go around and plagiarize stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, people believe it's okay for them to do stuff, but they have their own opinion what other people can do.
I see a question from Chibara in the chat. Do you see it as well, or?
Which one? Question: thoughts on witness who are centralizing the blockchain using? That's a big one. There's a lot of people that use some guy's service, and there's a joke around that he controls half the witnesses, and I don't know how well that's true, but I know he's had a lot more people ask him to take over their witness lately. I don't know if that's because people are just getting tired of doing it or they just want to outsource it. But
well, we don't need to
I think
speculate either. You know what I mean?
what's that?
I said we don't necessarily need to speculate either.
Yeah, well, no, I've talked to him, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of people, and that's not even the only problem. One of the big things is the centralization on the data centers. I mean, there's a lot of people using a specific data center or a group of data centers because there's just not a lot of options. When you start talking about 64 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs for a full node, there's very, very, very few places that can do that without jacking the price up 6-7 times. So there's a lot of centralization there too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot to it, and we'll have to see how all that stuff kind of plays out and what goes on. But let's see here. Any more specific questions for the Marky Mark himself or his projects or anything like that? I don't want to go too far off the deep end here into woo-woo world here. Let's see.
I'm not seeing any new questions so far. I'm trying to scan. Oh.
Well, we appreciate you certainly joining us today, the Marky Mark. We've had a nice hour-long conversation here, so we don't want to keep you too long. But we certainly, of course, appreciate you taking the time to join us. Snekky, can you share the Steem profile one more time here?
I can.
The Marky Mark, do you have any kind of final thoughts or anything you want to say out there to the Steem audience that's listening tonight?
No, just do a little outro that of a show my son loves. Be brave and stay wild. Some people might know what that means.
Snekky, do you got any final thoughts here?
I just want to say thank you for making the time to be with us tonight. I certainly enjoyed it, and maybe you can come again in the future.
Sure thing, anytime. Sorry if I got a little too real.
No, it's all good, buddy.
Filter, so
we appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks again.
All right, everybody, that is our chat tonight with the Marky Mark, Steem Witness. You can certainly check him out on STEEMIT. It's at the Marky Mark, all one word. Check out the things he's been working on, and we certainly appreciate him joining us tonight.
Absolutely. It was awesome.
Yes, we learned a lot. I knew we would.
Yeah, and I think... Sorry?
I knew we would.
Yes, that's true, and I think the audience enjoyed it as well. Right, people? Let us know. Did you enjoy that? Yes. No, I should not say that. I should not say them to tell yes. That's not good. No, sorry. Please. Say yes, anyways.
and Drop Bear, I'm sorry if the talk got a little depressing there for a minute because we were kind of talking about the reality of what's happening here on the Steem blockchain. We do keep it positive 99% of the time, I think, but we do have to be real sometimes. We've got to be honest with ourselves, and the price of Steem is down right now, and there's not as many people around in the chat rooms and all of these things as there used to be. And, in a way, that's okay, because we've talked about it before. Sometimes when there's, less people posting and chatting and all of these things, it's easier for you to be noticed. You're not just a face in the crowd. You can kind of stand out a little more, in my opinion. What do you think, Snekky?
I have no opinion. You know that.
Oh, come on. You're full of opinions.
Am I? I think, I stay. I've been here for 2 years now. And I came here when it was, I think, 7 or 6 cents. And I stayed while it went up. And now it's going down again, and I'm still staying. Of course, it can be a little bit depressing when you think about it too much, but let it go. Have fun, just do what you like, follow your heart. The price isn't everything, and if you keep going and you keep telling people about Steem, it will, it might go up again. I don't know. Do your own research. I still invest in STEEMIT. I invested in the past, and I will do it again. And of course, everybody should make up their own minds. But don't let the price affect you that much.
Mm-hmm. Some people are saying, I wish I had some for 7 cents. Right?
I wish I bought it when it was seven
It's
cents.
things like that though. I mean, I can remember when it was, well over $3 and we were joking about, oh, remember when Steam was $1? Oh, I should have got some and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It goes up and down all the time. It's the flow of this crypto market. No one really knows what's going to happen. We certainly don't. We are not financial
No.
experts. We don't know. We just like hanging out here on the Steam blockchain and getting to know all you amazing people.
Yeah, and I really, when I started, I was like continuously looking at the prices and oh this and oh that. I don't do that anymore. I might check the prices like once every 2 months or so. I don't know. It's today that I looked what my account was worth, and because I wanted to know, and I was like, ouch, ouch. It hurts, but I do believe that it might get up again, and then I will be all, my smiley self again. And I'm still having fun, even if I don't want the price to go to 7 cents, but even if the price goes to 7 cents, I will still like this platform. I will still have fun. I will still do, what I like.
Right.
And I think that at this time is the most important thing. Of course, money matters, and I think most of the people here joined because there's an opportunity to create money with what you do, and of course it matters, but people, it's
Well,
there's so much
yeah.
more.
Well, and I think, many people, not all, but many people who have gotten into cryptocurrency and things, they see kind of what's down the road, I think, or what they think is coming down the road, which is a future where we're using crypto as our currency or whatever, right? As our means of exchange, as our, our savings or all of these things. And so when we hear crypto being priced in dollars and we say, oh, well, Bitcoin is X number of dollars, who's to say that in the future, it could be worth $1 million, but what will $1 million buy? Is kind of what we're thinking. I think most of us that are in crypto, we don't really see. I mean, and that may not. Of course, I'm not speaking for everybody. Some people are only here for speculation and investment and trying to trade them and do all that stuff. But that's your own decision to do that. But I think a lot of us see a possible future where we're using tokens and we're using all of these things to transact and interact and do things in our lives that may use these cryptos. And so, yeah, like some people are saying, stop thinking in dollars. Well, of course, right now that's just the world we're in. But in the future, who knows what we'll see?
I would love to pay my mortgage with just go to the business owner and say, here's my Steem, have it.
Right.
I will pay you my mortgage with it. Oh, that would be cool.
And time will tell. I mean, we'll have to see. I still think back to early last 2017 when I was sweating buying Bitcoin around like 900 and something, and I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was, it's too much, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, it went all the way up to whatever it went up to, and then now it's come all the way back down. But it's like it's still up quite a bit from that point. So I don't know. It's an interesting ride that we're taking. It's a roller coaster for sure. There's going to be ups and downs and up days and down days, and we'll just have to choose to hodl or not. I'm a hodler.
Yeah. And sometimes you need to jump. I mean, I never really took a lot of money out of my Steem account. I did the first bits and pieces. I took my SPD out and I bought Bitcoin with it because I wanted to know how, you have to learn. I learned by doing it, by pushing thingies, and I bought Bitcoin at 700. And it's like, I didn't know. People around me saying at that time, you're so silly. Are you really gonna do that? It's stupid. And then it went up, and then everybody was, I wish It's sometimes you also have to jump and take a chance, and of course you need to follow your own advice and do your own research. But I hodl a lot, but I also jump at times, and sometimes it goes wrong. And I always say, if you invest, don't invest more than you can lose.
That's true. All right, well, you are listening to Ma1ne Snekky here on MSPWaves. I go by the username Main Event on STEEMIT. It's just spelled with a number 1 in there as instead of the I in main. Yeah, I know, one of those guys. And she is, of course, Poetic Snake.
No, you say it wrong.
What's that?
Poetic Snekky.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you didn't change it, so it's now Snekky.
That's your job. That's how you say it.
No, I've decided that it's your job.
Globocop. I don't know what that link is. I don't know where that goes. That might be a phishing link, folks. I don't know. Just kidding. Don't put in your post or your active keys in there, all right? Oh, that's funny. Oh, goodness. Well, big shout out to everybody who is listening out there. He says, oh, my goodness, my funds are gone. Big shout out to everybody that's listening out there. Do you want to go around the world here, Snekky?
Oh, no, it's so busy.
I think we're going to do it. I'll do it if you want. If you need to take a break this time.
I can do it. I need practice.
Okay. All right, everybody. So, let us know in the live audience chat right now what country you are listening from tonight. Just please type it out. You know, if you want to put a flag with it, that's fine, but don't just only put the flags.
No, I cannot read flags.
Right.
I refuse to read flags.
So go ahead and put it in the live audience chat what country you're listening from.
I see Drop Bear has joined us from Australia. I have to scroll down now. Oh, it's going so fast. I'm sorry, people.
I think once you scroll back up, it'll stop.
No, it's not. I see Anya joining us from the United States. Chibara from the United States. Oh my God, I'm not going to say that. Menno, of course, Azerbaijan. I see Sipora from Portland, Oregon, USA. Artemis Norrit is joining us from Canada. Erotic Thoughts, the land of Trump. Amaya, Canada, and Crimson Clad, the wonderful Crimson Clad, thank you for being here, has also joined us from Canada. And Sinks Winston has joined us from the Netherlands. Holland, the best place on earth, if you ask me. I'm from the Netherlands as well, so I am not judging at all. I see Mandelsage from Brazil, Sun Raffle from the US, Jitnat is joining us from Spain, the Marky Mark is on the moon, Crable Cray is from the United States, and I have to scroll down again. Painting Angels from the USA and Tennessee. I see Erotic Thoughts at US Maryland again. Oh, Main Event joins us from Eureka as well. Outer Space. Eagle Spirit, I skipped you. The USA, I am so sorry. It's going so fast. Oh my God, I think I missed a few, but thank you all.
If she missed you, go ahead and type it again. I like hearing all these different countries.
Yeah, me too.
And Menno says Maine is Canadian. I basically am. I mean, I'm like so close to Canada, I can like see it. So, pretty sure the trees are on both sides of the border here. Yeah.
I am so tempted to ask you to say lobster.
Lobster. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I see a few more. There's a few more.
Yes, Global Cop has joined us from Panama. And Ankapolo from Florida. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yidnes here from Spain.
I said Yidnet.
She says sniff, though. I think you missed her.
No. We will listen back. I did not miss Yidnet. I will never miss Yidnet. I'm like a super fan girl. You know, every time I see her, I go like, oh, it's Yidnet. So no, I did not miss her.
Oh, goodness. Well, we certainly appreciate all of you taking the time to join us tonight. We've still got another guest coming up here on the show.
Oh,
so
really?
Yes, and he is almost ready, Sears. Let me send him a quick message. Again, jump in there.
Woohoo! I know who it is. Do you know who it is? Does the audience know who it is?
They might if they read your pre-show post. And again, everybody, Poetic Snake does do a post before the show. Kind of lets everybody know what's going on, who's going to be on the show, all that good stuff. So if you want to support the show, you can certainly go check that post out and show it some love. Put some comments on there. Let us know what you think of the show.
Yeah, feedback. People, we like feedback. Even if you think that we are not doing a good job, let us know so that we can show you that we can do a good job.
Yes, so she's got a post right on there on her blog that you can check out. And if for some reason you've missed any of the show tonight, or if you can't stick around for the rest, or if you want to go back and listen to previous episodes, just head over to my STEEMIT blog. I will be posting the full recording of this show later on tonight, so you can always catch the show later.
Oh no.
What?
I see Shane.
I see a Shane. Blame the Shane.
I blame Shane. Welcome, Shane. It's been a long time.
Great to see Shane here with us. Big shout out to him. All right. Our next guest is in the waiting room. I'm going to move him in.
Woo, exciting.
All right. Good evening, JR. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, actually. Let me just make one slight little adjustment. I'm just going to turn you down just a little teeny bit.
Sounds good. The last time I was on a show, it was pretty loud as well, apparently. So must be my microphone.
It's good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure talking to you. So, yeah, maybe you can remind people a little bit of who you are.
Yeah, sure. I go by JR online. My name is Jaren, or Yaren. I don't know. It's not an English name, so I have no idea how to pronounce it. But everyone calls me Jaren. On the internet, I go by JR. I joined STEEMIT, Steem, back in June of 2017. Dropped out for a while because I forgot about it. My computer was broken. Then I hopped back in and got real serious, pretty much a year ago, maybe a little bit more than a year ago now. And now I witness for the blockchain, and I'm working on some projects. Actually, she's still ill, but she's graciously let me do this interview.
Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time to join us here tonight. Remind our listeners just what country are you in this evening?
Yeah, I live on the East Coast of the United States. Any of you are familiar with the United States? I'm actually in Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. So I'm on the west side of Pennsylvania, real close to Ohio. I can get to Ohio in like an hour at most.
Are you guys supposed to be getting any of this hurricane that's coming the way?
Not that I know of. It is where it looks like it's going to hit like head on. We used to live there for like 8 months. So it's kind of crazy. We know people who live there, and they all are like evacuating now. So it's kind of intense, but I don't think where we are, we might get some rain, but other than that, nothing too crazy.
And kind of remind our listeners, so what types of things are you doing on the Steem blockchain now that you've been here for a while? Are you a content creator? I believe you're a Steem witness, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of things, actually. It seems like more and more every day I get more and more things to do. So I started off back, I said like a year ago, I got real serious about Steem. I was doing strictly blog posts because I have a lot of history blogging. I've been creating content online for about 15 years now. And so about a year ago, I got real serious, started writing real long blog posts. Like I'm talking 5 days a week, 1,000+ words for months. Now what I'm doing like more currently, I'm doing a lot of live streaming because I still want to create content for the chain. And so I'm using DLive so that there's a link there that people can find on the chain. But the reason I started doing that is because I'm also starting a project. So aside from my communities I started, I have a community for the tech bloggers so they can like commune with each other and get to know each other. I also have a community that is called the STEEMIT Creators Guild, and that's there to help make your post better, get proofreading and stuff like that. On top of all that, I decided to be more of a live streamer now and stream me working on my projects. The biggest one called Nebulous. So I create content. I do blog occasionally still when I feel the need. I do have now projects that are using Steem to help Steemians, and I have communities. And so yeah, pretty much everything.
Now, as a Steem witness, why do you feel it's important that Steemians know kind of what witnesses are? Do you think it's important that they understand what the witnesses do?
Yeah, I do, but I also understand that it's not going to be easily understood. Um, I've read the white paper / blue paper a few times already, and I have to read it again because I can't answer some questions that I wish I could answer, like specifics about how everything works. But this kind of thing is not easily grasped. So I do think people should understand what witnesses are in a general sense and why they're important. And what most people need to know is that without witnesses, the chain won't be secure, and nothing will be actually put onto the chain. So as much as we need that understanding, we also need understanding of the RPC nodes, so that like without that, you can't get the content anyway. So that it's important that we know these things, but I think the average user on Steem just needs to know like, oh, these are important because without them, nothing's being put on the chain. Without these other nodes running to hold the chain, we can't see it anyway. We won't be able to see it. So yeah, just not super technical understanding of it.
Let's see here. So you said you do some live streaming on DLive. What are some of the things you like to do on there?
Well, I used to stream. I was a full-time gaming streamer for about a year and a half. Like, that's all I did, content creation-wise, was just stream. So I was on Twitch for a while. I also streamed on a site called Mixer for a while. If anyone knows Tidy, he streams on DLive. I knew him, like I met him like 2 years ago on Mixer, actually. So I know him from a while back. And so I did a lot of gaming, and when I first started streaming on DLive, I was doing gaming again there as well, and it works. But then I got real busy and with my project I wanted to start, and so decided to start streaming that. And it's actually kind of interesting that people like actually come and watch me program, or at least attempt to program, because like I'm not like a professionally trained programmer. I just kind of like hack my way through it most of the time, but I do have some understanding of it. But yeah, most of what you see now on DTube or DLive that I produce live is me coding something, whether it be Nebulous or the Creator's Helper. But that's most of the content that I'm doing right now.
So is it basically you just kind of showing what you're doing? Or are you actually doing like tutorials, that type of thing?
No, it's just me like trying to get things to work and doing it live on the internet so people can watch me. Right. I've actually had some pretty interesting feedback from it. Skylar KM, I think his username is. He started a podcast recently. He actually told me that he'll be in bed about to go to sleep because he lives in the UK. And he says that he'll like, if he sees me streaming, he'll like hop on and watch me. And he says like it's really encouraging because he wants to learn how to program. And so that him watching me, he said, gives him like motivation. And he says most of what you're doing is over my head, but it still is nice to see like your thought process. And I think that's what people are actually there for. And I've had some other people come in that are saying like, oh, I'm trying to learn how to code, and like this is cool that you're doing this. And I talk to them about it and kind of give them some pointers from just my history of programming in various ways, in various languages.
Well, I think that's really cool. Now, do you do that on a regular schedule, or is it kind of just when you have time?
Oh, it's scheduled. Ever since I started creating content on Steem, I was been very, very strict with the scheduling, and I have actually made posts about this in the past when I was doing a lot of blogging. I think it's very important that you have a niche, and your niche, then you schedule out what you're doing. So, yeah, I do. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, I usually live stream unless I can't, like it's like something's happening. Tuesdays I don't, because I do the MSPWaves radio show that I run. And then Friday's my curation post, so I don't do it on Friday. And then occasionally I'll do it on like a Saturday or a Sunday, depending on if I'm busy or not. But pretty much always, you'll see me on DLive Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
All right, well, good to know. Now, I'm kind of curious about your curation and your thoughts on curation. I see, of course, that you're a curator with MSP. You have a post on here that you're doing a curation helper. Would you like to talk about your thoughts on curation a bit?
Yeah, I would actually, because it's so I was asked to at the beginning, like it was the end of last year, beginning of this year. I actually started the first week of this year, being a curator for MSP, and I do technology and science. And so, because of my history in blogging and understanding that if we want people to take us seriously, we need to have evergreen content. We need to have nice long form content in written posts. And so I take it very seriously, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of time to like read through every post I come across on Steem. So I do my curation is like twofold. So it is me looking up stuff, but it's also the aspect of if you have a post that one isn't yours and two is really well written and it's about technology or science, I will actually give you a portion of the Steem that I earn from my post for you finding that thing, finding that post. I think that's really unique. That I don't think anyone else is doing that. I've only had like 2 people ever give me a post that wasn't their own, and like so I haven't had to pay out very much, but it's there, and that's what I intended. Like I kind of want it to be a community thing as well. Like I can't see everything, but other people can see things as well too. So that's like I do it most of the time. It's me doing all the work, but occasionally someone's like, "Hey, this is cool. Let you check this out," and I'll kick them some steam their way for helping out with the post.
Well,
I think that's really great. Sorry.
No, jump in, Snekky.
No, that was it. I was just going to say, I think that's really great. I've never heard that before either. So, wow, it's a good thing.
And I shared a link to your most recent curation blog, so people want to check that out. They certainly can. And Crimson was sending you a reminder too there in the chat, JR. If you want to check that, there is a place where you can share your curation blogs here on MSP server. So.
Yes, I always forget about that.
Some free promotion. Yes, so that's one of your curation things. And what's your thought kind of on curation as a whole? Do you think it is important to the Steem blockchain?
Yeah, I do. Because there is a lot of stuff out there that I have my own opinions about, and I expect a certain quality of posts. And I think if we want to attract people that are going to create good content to make our platform more attractive to then investors of any type, we need to be serious about what the content's being put out there, and we should promote the people that are putting the hard work in and creating good blog posts. And like for me, I usually make sure it's like nice and long, because my history with blogging, it has shown me that with SEO, Google search engine and stuff like that, they prioritize longer posts. So why shouldn't I, as a curator, do the same thing? And I think if we all are setting very good standards, one, will get better content from the people that will find better content, because there should be more of it out there. Because people are going to want to be seen, they want to be congratulated or applauded for their hard work, and then shared across with other Steemians. And the fact that MSP can re-steams these curation posts, and they're also re-steamed on MSP curation channel, it gets more eyeballs on their posts. And I think if us as curators put more seriousness into what we expect and set the bar a little higher than maybe we do, we can actually help steer the content of Steem into a more evergreen, long form post content that if someone searches for a topic, it can show up on Google in like page 1 or spot 1, and that will give us more exposure for this platform, regardless if it's on busy.org or STEEMIT or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think curation is very important. I think anybody can be a curator. You don't have to have a large stake or a vote that's really big. I think most people, especially in times like right now where prices are down and there seems to be a little bit less engagement on the platform, I know myself, I love it when I get some genuine comments and genuine feedback from people. And to me, that's what curation is all about. And, and if you are interested in becoming a curator, just do it on your own. You can do your own compilation posts of things that you're enjoying seeing out there. And as you mentioned, these compilations get more eyes on more content, and that's a great thing. And that's a way that anyone really can help out on the platform. You could become a curator. And I know, Snekky, you've probably got some thoughts on curation as well.
Yeah, I don't curate at all. No, just kidding. Yeah, I have my own curation project and it's going well. And I believe that in times like this, when the prices are low, curation projects can bring a smile to people's faces, be it by an upvote that people like, or leaving a genuine comment, like you said, or bringing those eyes on the post. I think if you blog, the thing you need most is audience. You don't need the votes; you need the audience to read your work. So if you can get extra eyes on your post and feel like you're being seen, I think that's the most important thing right now. And I love doing it, and I love working with all the curators that help me out. We are starting to become a really nice team. And working together is so amazing. Well, you curate for me as well, main event, and I think it's wonderful that together we can, bring a little bit of happiness or a little bit of fun. I mean, the community is growing as well, and everybody is welcome to join, even if you're not all about curating, because the community is not only about curating. I find it very important to make connections and have opportunities to cooperate with other people. And I think there should be like a million curation projects. I'm not saying one project is the best, because I believe that there should be more and more and more and more coming. There isn't one that is popping out for me, not even my own project. I think that, the more curators on the platform, the better.
Let's see here. If anybody in the live audience, of course, has questions for JR, certainly let us know in the audience chat on Discord or on DLive if you've got questions for JR here.
There is a question.
Okay.
Can I ask it?
Yes.
It's from Shane. What is the biggest difference between blogging on the internet compared to the blockchain, JR?
Yeah, it's surprisingly different. And people might think, oh, you're still writing blog posts or whatever. Live streaming, I don't feel is different because we can only have a link to a site for that. But when it comes to actually written blog posts, it is much different because on the blockchain, you're essentially yourself, unless you create an account for a theme or something like that. You can pretty much blog about whatever you want. I do still think that niches are important, regardless of what you're doing. So, I have a post about how to find the best niche for you, somewhere on my Steem on the Steem blockchain. And the difference being that the whole mentality, the whole atmosphere is different. So when you're blogging on the internet, so you start up a website and you start blogging, it's just you, and no one's there reading it for a while until you start getting traction. But with the blockchain, there's this community around it, and you can hop into these groups like MSP. You can hop into many other Discord groups or Steam.chat and talk to other people on Steam and build up a rapport with these people. Anybody, like you guys, Gray, Shane, everybody. And even though I had a blog about how to blog, which is super meta, but even there you have to network, but it's a lot harder to network. With the blockchain, it's much easier to network because it's like a cross between a blog and a social network. And I think if anyone who's never made a blog before, they should blog here because of that reason. You don't have to specifically pick one specific niche. Like if I would go create a website, let's say about technology, I could only blog about technology. Where on Steam, I'd be like, okay, like here are my interests. I like to blog, I like to write poetry, I like to live stream. So this day I'm gonna blog about technology. This day I'm gonna live stream some video games. This day I'm going to put out some poetry. And you can do that, and you're gonna build an audience that is expecting that. But you cannot really do that well with a self-hosted blog on the internet. So it's much easier to kind of break out and to network and to get that traction rolling.
Yeah, and I agree. That's one of the great things about being here is that you can post about a variety of different things, and you can be yourself and talk about your different interests and hobbies, and you're not forced to stick to just one topic. And I enjoy that myself, and I had never been a blogger before when I first joined, and it's given me opportunities, if anything, and we mentioned that a lot on this show, that this Steem blockchain, it creates opportunities for people in many different ways. It could be creating content, it could be making friends, it could be a wide variety of things, and that's one of the great things about this place, in my opinion.
I totally agree. And like I said, networking is much easier because there's a place for it. And you can, I've done everything in the past. So you can join like Facebook groups, or you can join other chats and stuff like that. But these groups it's not the same because when you join these other groups as a self-hosted blogger, you're not all in it for the same thing. Like you're all kind of there being friendly, but you're also all there kind of competing with each other. And unless like someone's blog is completely different than yours, well, first of all, that's hard because you can't really promote them on your site. And then if they are similar to yours, then you guys can cross blog posts and guest blog, but then you're still kind of competing with each other. So it's a really weird sensation. But with Steem, it's not that way. You hop in to like MSP, you start chatting, and people are just like, hey, here's another person that's looking to be better or network or meet people and grow this platform. And we're all like in this together. And I think it's a much better experience, in my opinion, from like the past 15 years of making blogs after blog after blog and then just like deleting them because I was bored with it.
Well, JR, while we've got you here, if you want, we can kind of turn the microphone over to you for a few minutes. If you've got any projects you want to mention, or if you want to give any shout outs to any other Steemians or other communities or anything, we can kind of turn the microphone over to you for a minute if there's anything that you want to kind of talk about while you're here.
Sure. The biggest thing on my plate right now is a project called Nebulous, and it's spelled Nebulus. Thank you, Snekky, for posting that.
You're welcome.
This is the newest post update. Version 2.0 is out. It's changed a lot since I started doing this. Right now, this project has the aim of making media that is hosted through IPFS that we use on the blockchain not disappear. So a lot of times you'll go and you'll have a YouTube video, and then you go back and you realize it's either it can't play, or it's not there anymore, or whatever the reason is. Same with D-Sound, things just don't play or whatever. And so this project, what we're doing is making it so that your content can be on many different computers, also servers is what they actually are, but even a computer could technically do this. Copies of it all over the globe. And so your content that you upload to DTube or DSound or any other project that's using IPFS for your media, that is then distributed through our network upon your request or the site's request, depending on how popular we get. And then even if DTube has to remove your video because they don't have space for it anymore, your video will still be retrievable over the IPFS because that what is called a hash never changes. And if it's somewhere, whoever's calling it, whether it's a DTube or an IPFS gateway, which is like a website that just accesses the content, someone can watch it. And that's what I think is the biggest issue we have right now with our decentralized applications on Steem, is that we want to use IPFS because, one, it's decentralized, and two, it helps lower the cost of hosting for all of us on these dApps, because we don't have a lot of capital to dump into servers and have, like, YouTube loses money constantly because they don't make money because it's so expensive to host video. So we can't expect DTube to be able to do what YouTube does on the budget they have. And so they use IPFS to help that. But at the same time, if no one's taking your video and saying, I'm going to save this on my machine, and if DTube has to get rid of it, then after like 24 hours, anybody who has that what's called cached, which is like temporary saving, it gets wiped away because it's not being retrieved anymore. And so what we're doing, we're taking your content upon your request, and we are going and saying, hey, anybody who's running a node on Nebulous, which is, again, a computer, you're saying, I want this to be backed up, essentially. And so my software then, actually a script, looks through the chain that you sent to Nebulous, this hash, and so then these nodes take it and they save it to their machine. And so essentially it stays there for as long as they keep it there. And in that situation, we keep it so that your content stays alive and well, because if you're making evergreen content that someone can take value from years from now, there's no reason that we should expect, or we should get used to our decentralized applications on Steem, making it so, or inherently being that things disappear because we can't afford to keep it around.
And it's an interesting concept, and it is like you said, we can't really expect these new applications to have the budgets of the other media giants and everything, and so everything's being slowly built, and something like what you're doing, I think, would be a benefit to people, because if, like you said, if they post a video somewhere and then it maybe gets removed, at least it's still somewhere, and it can still be retrieved. So that part of it is pretty cool to me. I'm sure some people might have different opinions on whether that is a good solution long term or whatnot. As I see people in the chat making different comments and things, but it's something you're doing now, and it seems to be a benefit now. So I think that's a good thing to see more options, more things being created that will help benefit the community and the content creators.
Yeah, and it's like this is just something I'm trying to help solve a problem, and it's been a lot of fun making it. And another thing that I failed to mention was that people who are running these nodes, they aren't doing it out of the kindness of their heart. It does cost a person one Steem, probably in the future one Steem dollar, as long as whatever comes closest to $1, one of those, and then we take that Steem that you sent along with your transaction saying you want this hash pinned, and that gets paid out to the people who are doing the work to keep your content alive and well. So they're not the nodes, the computers that are saving your content. They're getting an incentive for doing it. They're not just doing it, like I said, out of the kindness of their heart. Because we had that now with IPFS. Like anyone can run IPFS and say, I want to save this hash, but it's going to cost them drive space. And so with Steem already having value, there's no reason for us to make a new coin. We can just use Steem and use the Steem blockchain. And so if anyone's interested in running a node, they can contact me directly, and we can talk about that. But so people basically can earn money now, earn Steem for helping other creators keep their content alive and well.
And they can find out more about it on your most recent post, right? The one that Snekky had just shared. They can kind of learn more about it.
Yeah, that's a highly technical post. There's a lot of code in it, but the intro, the first few paragraphs are very easy to understand. And then I think in that first intro, I have a Discord channel linked in there. So if anyone wants to learn more about it, they can go to the Discord and say, hey, what's up? Graylin's there. He's very knowledgeable on the subject. He helps me out a lot. I'm there pretty much all day. So that's where the newest information is in that post.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see here. If the audience has any other specific questions for JR, now's the time. We are starting to run out of time here before the top of the hour. But JR, were there any other things you wanted to mention while we've got you here on the show?
I think that's pretty much it. Actually, I just remembered now. Being that I'm a witness, I want to be as transparent as possible. So if anyone's interested in like my server stats, who's partnered with me to help pay for things, or even how much Steem power I've earned in the last month, you can go to jrswab.cloud, and there you'll find all the information. And if there's anything you want to know that's not on that website, let me know and I can put it there for you.
Well, that's good. I think witness transparency is a good thing. So if you want to post the link to that in the chat room for people, feel free. That way maybe they can check that out if they're interested.
Yeah, I couldn't type that fast, nor could I.
There we go.
That.
Perfect. Snekky, did you have any more questions for JR or any comments for any of the things we talked about tonight?
No, I think he has been, sharing a lot of information, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes.
Thanks. I appreciate being here.
And let's see here. Last chance for any more questions here. Okay, so Graylin wants to know if you have any plans to run Nebulous on other planets or just Earth.
Well, that's what's cool about IPFS is that if we get to other planets, it'll work just as well.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Of course, that is J.R. Swab here on STEEMIT. It's JRSWAB. So check out the Steem profile if you're interested in checking out more and learning about the Steem Witness and his Nebulous project here he's working on and all the other fun things. Curation. Yeah, you're a busy guy.
Yeah, to say the least. And I have a full-time job still, too.
I hear you. I do the same thing. So, yeah, busy people. But hopefully this will all pay off in the end, right?
I think it will.
Well, thank you so much, JR, for taking the time to join us tonight.
Again, thanks for having me. It was an honor and a pleasure.
It's always amazing to talk to you. So thank you for making time, and to talk about your projects. And I wish you all the luck with them.
All right, everybody. That was our chat with JR. Snekky has shared the STEEMIT blog link right in the chat. So you can certainly check him out on STEEMIT if you're interested, and wonderful interviews with our two guests tonight.
Yes, I only need to learn how to do at least 3 things at the same time, because my tilt got all knots and stuff. And yeah.
Well, we certainly had a good time hanging out with them and getting to know them better. And we're getting close to the end of the show here, so I'm going to do our little disclaimer here one last time.
You are listening to Ma1ne Snekky on MSPWaves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. We are not financial experts or experts of anything. This show is intended for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or our guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of MSPWaves. The material on Ma1ne Snekky is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
That's right. Always do your own research.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing.
This is Ma1ne Snekky here on MSPWaves. We're here every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time. As of today, it's 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern time, but of course with the daylight savings time coming up pretty soon, that time will change, but always just remember 10 to midnight UTC time. That's where you can always find us here on MSPWaves. We interview different Steemians every single week. Sometimes we just hang out, Snekky and I. We'll kind of talk about Steem community related things. But it's a different show each and every Wednesday. So make sure you check back with us next week for another live episode here on MSPWaves. Snekky, do you have any parting words for the audience here?
When are you going to ask me to say bye-bye, check Snekky? I like when you did that, that I just could repeat your words. But I want to thank everybody who was with us in the audience on Discord, on DLive, MSPWaves.com, and, everybody who chimed into the audience and asked questions or debated stuff. It's amazing to see everybody so excited during a show. It makes us smile. It makes me smile. I cannot talk for Maine, but I think he has smiled a few times during the show. So yes, I really hope that you will be back next week to listen to another show. And please remember, if you want to be a guest on our show, contact us and we will contact you back.
Absolutely. You can find us both on the STEEMIT platform. Snekky, you might as well go ahead and share our profile links right there before we get going.
Oh, did you see how fast I did that?
You're on it. Good.
Oh,
We do appreciate all of you joining us each and every week. As I mentioned, I'll be posting the recording of the show later on my STEEMIT blog on the main event profile. So if you want to support the show, feel free to check that one out. Also, show some love to Snekky's post that she did a little earlier today. We always appreciate your feedback, your re-steams, your upvotes, all that good stuff. Thank you all so much for taking the time to join us. Again, lots of shows to check out on MSP Waves, so make sure you head over to mspwaves.com and check out the full schedule. I believe Saipan Damashi is coming up next live here on MSP Waves, so stick around for his show. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight on MSP Waves. This is Main Event and Poetic Snake saying good night, everybody. We will see you next week.